भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome to the study of the Upanishads, the Mundaka Upanishad, and we are studying the last chapter of the Upanishad of the third Mundaka, second chapter of the third Mundaka. Sequentially, we have covered 58 shlokas, and from this point of view, this chapter's point of view, we have studied 5 of them. As because this is a concluding chapter, the author is trying to explain to us indirectly the meaning of the word Upanishad. It is something very queer, but this is how we were taught to study the Upanishad. The word Upanishad had 3 small elements joined up together. Upa, Ni and Sat. Upanishad. Upa means samipyam, coming close to which. The closeness is physically and ideologically. I come close to you physically so that we can interact with each other in an undivided manner, with an attention undivided. And we can also come close from the common ideas that we are discussing. The samipya, closeness, upa, closeness here is to be understood from 2 different phases. One is physical proximity and the other is ideological proximity, where we are sharing ideas. This is the word upa. Ni means in totality. What in totality? The ignorance about the reality of this cosmos, that ignorance in totality, sat dhatu vinasharthe. The word sat here means total destruction without any residue left. Ni means in totality without any residue left. Of what? The ignorance that has a hold on me, which forces me to identify myself with what I am not. I am not this mind, I am not this body, I am not these emotions, I am neither the intellect, I am not even that ego which I know in a limited manner. These are not my real identity. But ignorance of my real identity is such that all these misconceptions has a hold on me. coming close to the ideas of the Upanishad, coming close to the Rishi Angirasha, who is close to me in the domain of ideas by proper choice of words, what will happen to me? I will destroy in totality the ignorance about my true original nature. This is the concluding chapter. So in this concluding chapter, you have heard the first shloka, Sabeda etat paramam brahmadhama, so on and so forth. Then he has told you, very, very, very be careful of what you desire. Whatever is your desire, you will be motivated to act to fulfill that desire. So he starts generally, Kamanya kamayate manyamana sa kamabhir jayate tatra tatra. Axiomatic truth. What does it say? I appreciate. That will be good for me. As soon as that sense of appreciation that it is good for me, I develop a desire to acquire it. The desire for acquisition motivates me. And that motivation makes me to work physically, emotionally, rationally to achieve my goal. And I ultimately, by God's grace, or by my prarabdha karma, whatever it is, I achieve that. What was the main point? You desired it. You wanted it. So be very careful of what you want in this world. Do you want worldly gains? Or you want bhakti and mukti? Devotion and absolutely pure love for God, which will lead to liberation. Liberation from what? The hold of ignorance on me. That I will liberate myself. I'll be free. So he is explaining now what is the actual point where we get stuck. The point is worldly desire. Whereas by contrast, paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaive sarve praliyanti kama. But a person who has seen through this ball game, and he says, I only desire that which is all pervasive, which is all permeative, which cannot be parceled in time or compartmented by space. It is immutable, it is absolute, and I want that because that is my true original nature. The gain-oriented idea is, I would like to know who am I, what am I. So my desire is directed towards that goal. And I have understood the benefit of reaching that goal. Therefore, I have a desire. But that desire is to be one with the infinite, which is not an acquisition, it is revelation of my true original nature. How do we achieve it? The third shloka says, Nayamatma pramade Kibale Prabhachena Nabhya Na Medhaya Na Bahuna Sutena. He says how not to approach it. That is, an oratorial skill which is backed up by your intellectual conviction may be a means to that, but it is not an end in itself. You need that to reach that goal, but don't make a mistake, that is not the goal of life. So, pravachana, medhaya, bahuna srutena, nalabhya. But there are means and methods of reaching the goal. Similarly, balahinena nalabhya, and so on and so forth. So he enumerates that don't make a mistake confounding between the end and the means to the end. That is why Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji, had over and over and repeated again, all these methodologies are means to an end. They are never an end in themselves. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, they are direct and independent means to realization. You should not make a mistake that this is an end in itself. That is being mentioned in shloka number 3 and shloka number 4. And last two shlokas, these are as if they are twin sisters. These two verses are twin verses. He explains in the last two lines of each shloka, how do you reach there? Yam eva esha bhriyate. Shloka number 3. He who wholeheartedly, without any reservation, the maximum manipulation of his own energy, he desires that and that alone. And of other things of the world, alam pratyayabam. Enough is enough. I won't look at that. I only look at. The intensity of your urge is being mentioned here. Yam eva esha brinute. He who welcomes, invites this goal with total heart and soul and total complete dedication and devotion. By that intensity, tena labhya, your achievement will be available to you by the totality of your effortful means. And you will break asunder the shell of ignorance and will be rehabilitated in your lost pristine purity, the majesty and the magnificence of your own being. Yam eva esha brinute. Underline this word. This is the secret. And the intensity of this is the cause of the time factor taken to reach that goal. And you will break the shell of darkness around you and you will rehabilitate yourself in the majesty, the magnificence, the purity, effulgence of your own being. This is what the third shloka says. The fourth shloka, as I say, is a twin sister, as it were, twin verse. He says, Etair upayair yatate yastu vidyan. with this methodology that I told you, na pramada, na vedhaya, na bahuna shrutena. No, no, no. But as a means, yes, yes, yes. And then, balahinena nalabhya. If you are a weakling that is weak in your conviction, it will not happen. That is, you strengthen the character and your own willpower. Nacha pramadat, nacha tapasa bhapya lingyat. Without actual sannyasa. Here the word sannyasa should not stop itself in that organized way of life. Here sannyasa means total, complete renunciation of anything appurtenant to this world. An omnibus rejection. Etairupayair jatate jastu vidyan tasya eshatma, this jivatma with limitations enters into Brahman. Tasya eshatma bishate brahmadhava. Slowly and slowly it enters. And this idea will be developed in the following shloka, shloka number 8, if I am not wrong, which we will study in due course, giving an example, a river contained by the left bank, the right bank, and the bed, but the river essentially is a mass of water. We call it a river because it is contained, limited by the left bank, the right bank, and the bed of the river. But the water is the river. Yatha nadya samudre sanyamana. Just like a river flows into the ocean. What happens? Astam gachanti namarupe bihaya. The mass of water does not evaporate. The mass of water mingles with the ocean limitless, irretrievably lost. It cannot be reprieved, it cannot be brought back again. What has it lost actually? The limitations because of which it was called a river, a mass of water contained by the left bank, the right bank, and the riverbed. The banks and the bed has disappeared, therefore the name and the form has disappeared. But the essence of water has merged with the ocean. Similarly, this Jivatma merges with Paramatma, without name, without form, but to make it understandable, suggestive words are being used. Nadi, plural is Nadya, and it flows into Samudra, in the ocean. What actually happens? That mass of water has lost its name, has lost its form. It has found out its true original essence, water, and it is irretrievably lost, mixed up with the ocean. Become one with the mass of water known as ocean. Tatha Vidyan, similarly though knower of the self, Tatha Vidyan Nama Rupad Vimukta, he gets rid of Nama and Rupa, Parat Param Purusham Upaiti Dipyam. Dipyam Parat Param Purusham Upaeti. Slowly and slowly and slowly, through a process of evolution, merges with it, and its individual separatist identity, I am Mr. So-and-so, disappears for all times to come. This is what we have studied. we have also studied the fifth shloka and partially the sixth. The fifth shloka tries to describe how to achieve that. How coming close to that idea, you break your limited identity. Upanishad. Now the word Upanishad is being described in a performance-oriented manner. This is what you have to perform to reach that goal. What is that performance-oriented manner? Samprapya rishaya, samprapya enam, rishaya jnana tripta, kritatmana vitaraga prashanta, ste sarvagam, sarvato prapya dhira, Yuktatma sarvam, yuktatmana sarvam, eva apiyanti. Again, apiyanti means be and become. A gradual process of evolution, gradual process of cleaning up the reflective surface of the mirror. A gradual process of cleaning up the mirror. Its reflectivity is there. The reflectivity is not known, not visual, not experienced, because there's a thick layer of dust in it. The more you clean, slowly and slowly and slowly, the reflectivity of mirror asserts itself, comes to the surface. Similarly, Rishaya, that is Satyadarshi, Krantadarshi, Tattvadarshi. What does it mean? He who has experienced before experiencing has a rock solid, crystal clear conviction of his goal, Atma Vastu. That is my goal. Rishaya Jnana Tripta. Samyak Prapya Enam. Jnana Tripta Rishaya Enam Samyak Prapya. This is the paraphrase. What does it mean? Rishis, they become rishi. They are not born rishis, apart from that school of people. Don't get mixed up with that. You and me, we are not born rishis. But we have the eternal, infinite possibility of be and become a rishi. Nobody can stop that but yourself. There is no obstacle in the way of being a rishi yourself. The only obstacle is you yourself. Samyak Prapya. Samyak means in totality. Intellectually, I am convinced in a rock-solid manner, in a crystal-clear manner, yes, that is my true original nature. That is an indispensable first step, precondition. And then you transform your behavior pattern, you transform your thinking pattern, you transform your attitude, lifting your behavior, thinking and attitude from an ordinary jiva to that supreme being who is beyond every bondage. And as because there is no duality, love for myself spreads out the whole world. I love the whole world. There is no enmity, no enemy, nothing bad. I am what I am. Samyak Prapya here means after that necessary precondition of rock-solid intellectual conviction, you experience that by your own effort, sadhana, that is, your behavior pattern, your pattern of feeling for others, and your attitude toward the world. Attitudinal correction, emotional correction, rational correction, behavioral correction. With these corrective avenues, you transform your personality and Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. Divyam Param Purusham Upaeti. Slowly and gradually, slow but steady wins the race. Rabbit and the tortoise. Measure each and every step of yours and put your step in such a manner it does not move. Then put the next step. Upaiti Dipyam. This one also we have studied totally. Now, not totally, you know what happens? The more you evolve spiritually, more the Upanishads will reveal its inner meaning. And you can't outgrow it. You can merge with it. On atikramas jnanam satyam. That which you cannot outgrow, but you can merge with it. That is reality. Samprapya enam means you merge with it, you don't outgrow it. Now, in the 6th shloka, he has the same idea put into a different manner. And up to the 7th, 6th, 7th and 8th, probably 9th, you will see the same idea being placed before you as a different menu of dish, not knowing which will appeal to you. This is the excellence. There is no take it or leave it. Not only one way. You can develop in your understanding, provided that understanding is based on the teachings of the scriptures, and your understanding is without any doubt, without any hesitancy, rock solid, crystal clear conviction. That is a necessary, indispensable precondition. Don't stop there. That is what people make a mistake. They think intellectual understanding is the goal. No. You have to transform your personality. And as you identify yourself with your name today, even if you are sleeping, I call you by name. The vibration of sound in your ear will wake you up. Who is calling me? At that time, calling you by name will have no effect on you. Bho atmana yagrata uttishtata atmana. You have identified yourself with your true nature. Then you wake up. Your name has no hold on you anymore. That is samyak prapya. And it has to be cultured, cultivated, and the personality has to be molded accordingly. So, he has explained to you from one standpoint. Let him explain to you from the other standpoint. How is it that word samprapya, samyak rupena prapya? What do I get? Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha. There you are. Vedanta, the end wisdom of the Vedic literature. What is that? So aham asmi. I am that. The student asks, who am I? Ko aham asmi. Who am I? The teacher says, so aham asmi. You are that. Tattvamasi. Thou art that. And that idea slowly and slowly and slowly saturates your whole being. And you shed all your ignorant identities. I am this, I am this, I am this. Panchakosha viveka. I am not this Annamaya kosha, the body. I am not the prana. I am not the manaha. I am not the buddhi. I am not ahankara. I am what I am, experienceable, not describable. So he says in the previous trover, samprapya. What is the concept of that samprapya? How do I achieve it? I will tell you. Rishi helps you. Angirasha Rishi helps you. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchita Artha. That is what you want to hold to. Veda Antaha Vedanta. The climax, the zenith, the epics of the ideas emanating from the Vedas. What is the climax, apex and zenith? Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. That is the last word. The four Mahavakyas, which identifies the Jiva with the Shiva, Paramatma. Or Jiva, that is Jivatma and Paramatma, or Atman or Brahma. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchita Artha. The essential wisdom of the zenith of Veda, or the zenith of the wisdom emanating from the Vedas. You appreciate it, absorb it, assimilate it, and transform yourself. That is Sunishchita Artha. The meaning of those words have been fully established in you. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha. How can I do that? Sannyasa Yogat Yataya Suddha Satta. By practicing the virtue of sannyasa. What is sannyasa? Samyak nyasa. Not to be involved, not to be attached by way of aversion or desire. Raga dvesha vijuktaistu vishayanindriyacharan atma vashayr videyatma prasadam adhigacchati. It is in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. That look, yes, you have to live in this world. It has attractions thrown all around. Walk into this world. Walk your walk of this life. There's no harm. You have to. Make sure don't get attached. Perform your duties for your duty's sake and go a step further. Offer it to the divine. In the process, you are remembering the divine, and constant remembrance is divinizing your personality. saturating it slowly and slowly and slowly. Vedanta Vijnana Shunishita Artha. And in practice, Sannyasa Yoga Jataya Suddha Satta. The personality, Satta is personality. Suddha, pure. What is purity? Nothing else but the thought of Brahman. Or thought of Sagun Sakara Ishvara, your Ishtadev, who is an incarnation in his own right. So, Vedanta Vijnana Shunishchita Artha, Sannyasa Yoga. What type of yoga? Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga. Good enough. Yoga is a communion, line of communication between you at this end and the goal there. That is yoga. A yoke holding two bullocks under the same guidance. One is here, one is there. Sannyasa Yoga. That is total dispassion, unattachment, uninvolved, totally, good, bad or indifferent, nothing doing. I am taintlessly pure. Suddha Satta means my personality is unpolluted, taintless, pure. Te Brahmalokeshu Paranta Kale Paramrita Parimuchanti Sarve. These two lines I could not complete during the last talk. Let me complete these two lines today. They, those people, who are they who have qualified themselves with these indispensable preconditions, sadhana. Those people who have followed these indispensable preconditioned sadhanas totally, fully and thoroughly, and has become absolutely pure at heart. That is, it is crystal clear and pure, unpolluted. They, paranta kale, when this body is falling off, or when the body has to fall off, paramuchanti. Te brahmalokeshu paranta kale paramrita parimuchanti sarve. What happens to him? They, not about what happens to them, they brahmalokeshu. They enter that realm of awareness of presence of Brahman. What is Brahman? Satchidananda Swarupam or Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Sabhavavan Brahman. That is the area. That is the field of awareness. You enter that area of awareness of Brahman. Parantakali, when you are casting off your last exhalation. Pranavayu, you are throwing it away. So, when you are throwing your last breath out, because of these indispensable preconditions you have practiced through your life, and your personality is absolutely pure, Suddha Satta. That means there's no trace of ego, and all that comes from ego has disappeared. Paramrita parimuchanti sarve. Paramrita. They merge with the sublime deathlessness. How be one with all? There's no death there. Death is in the domain of time, and limitation is a domain of space. You have gone beyond these two limitations. And he gives you a beautiful example. What happens to him? Natasya prana utkramante pradeepa nirvanavat ghatakasha vatsya parisamantat avatishtate. Wow. What an example. What happens to that realized soul who has realized in this life of yours, even at the last time of his life, when he is leaving his last breath? That is the cut-off point. Either previous, beforehand, or that is the last point of cut-off. He realizes his own true original nature. Does that person who was a Jiva, who has now known he is Shiva, he knew himself as Jivatman, now he is known as Paramatman, what happens to him? Does he evaporate like camphor? Does he evaporate like a spot of water on a hot pan? Where does he go? How do I identify him? He says, no. You can't identify him from your limited measures of identification through time, through space, through causation, mutation. These are no more available to him. What happens? He gives you 3 examples. Let me start with the grossest. Shakuninamiva akashi. When the birds fly in air, do they leave any footmarks? They are flying. They are there, but they leave no footmarks holding on to which you can catch them. But you see them behaving. But you can't hold on to them with worldly measures. They are beyond that measure. Shakuni nam iva akashi. Iva is by example. Birds in the air, they leave no footprints to be identified which way they have gone. Jale bari charasya. In water, the fishes and other water creatures, they move around. They leave no footmarks. Similarly, tatha jnanavatam gati. A person who has identified himself with the cosmos, he is everywhere. There's a song in Hindi Urdu, you know, it's Kabir Das's Doha. Mujhko kahan dhuro vande, main to tera saath hu. Why are you searching for me? Where are you searching for me? Why, where and which place? Main to tera saath hu. I'm with you all the time. I am you, you are in me. Where are you searching me? Similarly, Shakuni namiva akashe, jale bari charasya jat, param yada navdrishyeta, tatha jnanavatam gati. They are everywhere. This everywhere is, you can't posit who he is, where he is, by your measures. Time, space and causation, time, space and mutation. He is absolute. Your measures will not be able to find him out. But you can find him out. How? Pradeepa nirvanavat. It is said that the sparks of flame, atoms of flame, are existing everywhere. When, because of accumulation of certain causes, because of the fuel, because of the wick, and because of the heat, you are accumulating the fuel and it is visibly burning in an optical manner. When you put it off, it disappears. It is not evaporated. It disappears from the measure that you are used to measure with. Parisamantat avatishtate. And another example is being given. You have a pot, an earthen pot. You say space is outside and the space is divided by the pot and the space is known as a pot. Size and shape and name. You break that pot. Man-made distinction of space has disappeared. Space is one. Similarly, man-made distinction between an individual and individual, those measures cannot measure that person anymore. He has merged with infinity. He is no more finite. He has merged with infinity. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha Sannyasa Yogat Jataya Suddha Satta. What happens to them? Te Brahmalokeshu Paranta Kale Paramrita Parimuchanti Sarve. They become one with the cosmos. They cannot be identified and measured by human measure system, but they exist. And I can tell you, there's a very common saying, the teachers, the avatars and etc., they keep on saying to sort of console the disciples, never think I'll forget you. Never think I'll not be there. I will always be there, provided you remember me. You will be forgetful, not me. I am always there. It's for you to remember me. That is the process of being Suddha Satta. So dears, we have covered this shloka number 6. There are 2 more shlokas which will explain to you what happens when you are a realized soul. What is the process of that realization? And as far as words could explain to you, it gives you a vague and suggestive description of what can happen to you. It is indescribable, means it cannot be described by material things. But suggestively, tatastha lakshana, by suggestion, they will hint you, this will what will happen to you. Thank you, dears. We'll go into the next shloka, shloka number 7, during our next Sunday class. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Next Saturday talk. Thank
you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.